Next, we got an email from Doug, and they say, my situation is a bit odd. I work in the space sector, and we cannot connect unapproved USB devices to our computers. I would like to use a reasonably good mic, but I'm stuck with a 3.5mm jack, TRRS. I don't care if it's a Rube Goldberg machine prior to the jack, so long as it sounds good. It's not USB unless it's power only. Doesn't require installing software, does not use batteries, and ends up going into a 3.5mm jack. Curses! Curses, Doug! Thanks for any ideas. If relevant, under $500, at least moderate background noise rejection and easy muting function would be perks. Doug, I should have read this email a second and third time before recording a sample, because I recorded a sample using a device that requires batteries. It requires batteries, it has 3.5mm TRRS, and it doesn't sound like that's going to work for you. I'm still going to include it because maybe it will. Maybe this will change your mind. But I have a few other options which I will share with you, which it doesn't sound like will work for you either. But let's talk about those now. The higher end options that I would recommend would be a microphone running into either the Rodecaster Pro, which is out of your budget, but it has a function that a few other devices have, which I will recommend also, and that is a 3.5mm TRRS auto mix minus feature that you can run to your phone. The reason that that is important is you could use that same plug and connect it to that TRRS plug on the computer and send that audio input to your Skype calls or whatever it is that you use at your company. But as I mentioned, the RCP, the Rodecaster Pro, out of your budget, it's $500, and then you wouldn't have a microphone. The other one would be the new Zoom PodTrack P4. It's going for $200. It's another device that uses batteries. I believe you can plug it in via USB to a wall wart and get power that way. And I have not used this. I do not know how it sounds, but that also has that 3.5mm automatic mix minus, if I am not mistaken. And you would be able to connect the output from that into the computer's 3.5mm TRRS, send your microphone audio through that thing, get the call audio out of it, and be better off than you are right now. And then we have the third option, which is the one that I should have read your email again for because you said no batteries. But here is a sample of the iRig Pre, which has a 3.5mm TRRS plug, and it allows you to connect an XLR microphone directly to your phone, or in this case, your computer, and it has a headphone output so you can get computer playback. Here is that sample that is not going to help you at all. All right, here is an example of me running the Shure KSM-8 through the iRig Pre 3.5mm version directly into my MacBook's 3.5mm headphone jack or 3.5mm TRRS jack. I am not able to hear the microphone in my headphones, meaning this does not have zero latency monitoring, and I did listen back to some samples. It does seem to have a little bit of a hiss, a little bit more noise than you would typically want. But for conference calls, especially if you're going from a crappy sounding headset microphone with plosives and shrill piercing sound, I think this would be a huge improvement over that, using a proper XLR microphone running over the iRig into the computer's TRRS input. Or if you have the budget, the new Zoom PodTrack has the automatic mix minus, which is what you would connect, or the Rodecaster Pro has that same functionality, automatic mix minus. You would just take a 3.5mm TRRS cable to 3.5mm TRRS cable and connect that to the PodTrack or Rodecaster Pro into your computer's TRRS output device thing port, and you'd be good to go. Again, I don't 100% know how high the quality would be, but I do imagine it would be significantly better than a headset microphone just like this. Doug, there you go. I hope that helps you in some way, shape, or form. 3 options for you, and I hope one of them falls within your budget. I'm guessing the Zoom PodTrack P4 with a dynamic microphone, something like the Shure KSM8, or that'll be too expensive. Maybe the Shure SM58, the SE Electronics SEV7. Those are all great options. XLR cable, microphone stand, you'd be off to the races.